For Tuesday, August 17th, 2021 to order, and I'd like to remind everybody we do have a copy of the Open Meetings Act posted at the back of the hearing room. I want to welcome everyone. It's been quite some time since we have all been together, and it's also very exciting to have guests with us to give us an update on the South Beltway, and I can tell you that is one of the most exciting things I can see going on for our city and county, particularly as I ride my bike on the bike path on the south side to be able to see the progress. So we're going to go ahead and start with the first item of business to approve our meeting minutes. Moved by Rick Vest, approval, and seconded by Tammy Ward. I guess we don't have,
Yeah.
Angie, are you taking minutes?
Angie's taking minutes.
Would you be so kind as to call the roll? But one second, I forget. I should introduce everybody here. I'm Jane Raybold, Lincoln City Council Acting Chair for the moment. And then we have representatives from the County Commissioners, Roma Amundson, Deb Shore, Rick Vest, Sean Flowerday, and City Council members Sandra Washington, Tammy Ward, Tom Beckius, James Michael, Richard McGinnis, and Benny Show. Benny Show.
You have your name there, so we remember.
Krista, she
Okay, perfect. Okay, so we just need to call approval of the meeting minutes for August 18th. It was moved approved by Rick Vest, seconded by Tammy Ward.
Raybold.
Yes.
Amundson. Yes. McGinnis.
abstain.
Flowerday.
Yes.
Beckius.
Abstain.
Shore. Yes. Ward.
Yes.
Vest.
Yes.
Washington.
Yes.
Yocum. Absent. Show.
Yes.
Bauer.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, the next item of business is election of officers. I will accept nominations from the floor for the chair.
I would nominate Roma Amundson as
Second.
Chair of the City Council.
And seconded by Richard McGinnis. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? We will close, and let's please have a roll call vote for Roma Amundson as being the next chair.
Raybold.
Yes.
Amundson.
I reckon so.
McGinnis.
Yes.
Flowerday.
Yes.
Beckius.
Yes.
Shore. Yes. Ward.
Yes.
Vest.
Yes.
Washington.
Yes.
Show.
Yes.
Bauer.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Wonderful. And then I would like to turn over the meeting to our new chair.
Okay, well, I thank you so much for this distinction and honor. I think that what we'll do now is to open the election, open nominations for the vice chair.
I'd like to nominate Tammy Ward as the vice chair.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion. Are there any other nominations? Okay, are there any other nominations? Okay, are there any other nominations? Okay. We close the nominations, and we will move forward with the election of Tammy Ward. Would you please call the roll?
Bowers.
Yes.
Show.
Yes.
Washington.
Yes.
Vest.
Yes.
Ward.
Yes.
Shore. Yes. Beckius.
Yes.
Flowerday.
Yes.
McGinnis.
Yes.
Amundson.
Yes.
Raybold. Yes. Motion carried.
Okay, well, congratulations, Tammy. You and I have a leadership position.
You want to move over?
I'm good. Thank you. You're good?
You are
Okay.
good.
Okay, well, thank you so very much, and let's move on then to item number 3, which is the South Beltway update. And Kurt Muting, is he?
There he is.
Yeah, there you go. Hi, Kurt.
Good morning, everybody.
Yeah, good morning. Okay, we're looking forward to the update on the South Beltway.
Okay, we'll see if this works. Sorry about the confusion and me not being there, but made a late night trip out here to Colorado for my mom. So let's see. My only can you see that? Can you see that?
It's fine.
Okay, I think I lost you there.
We can hear you.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay. Try this again. Thanks for having me. I've got a little bit of concern. I'm out here in Colorado and I forgot a charger for my computer. So I'm probably I want to get to the drone video. And so I'm gonna go through just a couple of slides here just with some items that you may or may not know. So the South Beltway, it led December 19. We had a notice to proceed of May 1st of 2020, but we did allow some early culvert work to begin in March. So it was really March of 20 when things got kicked off. The project had 1,095 calendar days. We put in a thing in the proposal about substantial completion of May 1st, 2023, which means that the mainline freeway lanes have to be open by that date, and we're not allowed to have any closures on the mainline freeway after that date. There will be some other project construction that's needed after that. So the actual project completion is May 2024. And I think that work will probably consist of some tie-ins to new roundabouts at Saltillo for some of the interchanges. Hawkins got the bid at $350 million. Currently, I put together a team that had five of our project managers, and currently we have 17 inspectors on the job. Where we are as of just actually this past Saturday, we've had 18 monthly pay estimates. We're averaging about 11.7 million. Total payout right now is 211.4 million. We've had 7 plan revisions, 24 change orders. Some of the more interesting things, we have a total of 5.3 million cubic yards of embankment for the job. We currently are at right around 4.5 million that has been placed. So we're gaining on it. There's 41 box culverts. We have 38 of those complete. We did something new that we haven't done before, and we did allow the contractor to place precast box culverts. So they did choose to do 13 of them in that construction method. 18 of the total 21 bridges that are on the project are currently under construction. And now this is a 12 or 13 minute video, and I'll probably stop and talk my way through a couple of different things, but for the most part, this video was taken last Tuesday, so it's just a week old. And here we're flying south. We're on 77. We're flying south. And for those that have been out there, this probably looks pretty familiar. But traffic is head to head on the northbound lanes and the new pavement that we got done. And we switched that traffic a couple of months ago. So to get kind of where we're at, this area up here is the Vicious Camper. This is Rod's Power Sport. So this is Saltillo that's going through here. Here's part of the start of the new bridge. This is temporary Saltillo that we're crossing now. Obviously that will all get removed. We're gonna pan over to the connections to Saltillo and new roundabouts to get into Shrine Way to go down by Shriners and Rod's Power Sports. We're still kind of looking southwest, turning to the south, and then as we move towards the east direction, you'll see the loop here, which will be the on-ramp from Saltillo to 77. There'll be an off-ramp similar on the other side. But this is the new roundabout at 14th and Saltillo. Almost completed, not quite. We have a little bit of island work and some other minor work. So actually, I was going to try and stop this. So over in here, I need to move that. This is our northbound off ramp from northbound 77 to Saltillo. So it'll come clear from the south here. It'll come around, and this will be a ramp. There'll be the northbound main line that will continue on north, starts way up there and comes across, and there'll be a bridge structure here that will continue on to the north. So it'll really change the looks and how the whole interchange works. And then this everybody has seen, and we'll come back to that towards the end, but that is the kind of the structure that everybody sees, the flyover bridge as we, oops, I didn't want to do that. Sorry about that. There we go. So that's kind of the thing that everybody sees as you drive by. And like I said, we'll come back to that, but this area here is an off-ramp from westbound Highway 2 to Saltillo. These are our new main lines. These will be the through lanes for Highway 2 as they come through and head to the east. So now we're flying just about straight east. This is 25th Street, and in here, there's the label. This is Salt Creek, so there's two bridge structures here, a pair of structures here over Salt Creek, and then a pair of bridges for those that do walk and ride on Jamaica Trail. You've seen those being constructed and getting ready for a bridge deck pour on this one right here as we speak. So continuing west, we get to the BNSF railroad tracks, which is right around 25th Street. Those structures, if you remember in the paper, that was a lot of those bridge girders made the news when they were hauling them through town. Pretty interesting for a lot of people. And now we're coming up to a relocation of 38th Street and try this. So there'll be a bridge structure here. This road up here is 38th Street, which was closed for a lot of last year. It is reopened now, but it's going to get relocated from the south over here to come across kind of at an angle down towards Saltillo. We'll come back and look at it towards the end, but that is the relocation, which will be, oh no. Sorry, I'm in a vehicle and I'm trying to work this the best I can.
You're fine.
It's great.
Okay. So we're back flying east. I said there'll be a big interchange there. And, through here, it was a lot of grading. Obviously, we do have some of the new lanes down. We have a lot of the permanent fence in along the project, and a lot of the permanent seeding, erosion control measures are in. Obviously not in the meeting, but these back slopes have been seeded, and we're waiting for that to grow. We're coming up to 54th Street. 54th Street, there is no interchange at 54th Street, so it's just going to be bridge over the top of Highway 2. And that's kind of what they're putting in, some box culverts and structures through there, but there'll be a bridge over Highway 2, and as we head towards 68th Street interchange, which is open, you'll see a lot of the pavement that is in. This off ramp is closed right now, but obviously, but this is the big interchange that most who have been to Hickman or live in Hickman, we're waiting for this one to get opened up. because the detour was 54th Street. So that is open. I'll talk about these teardrop roundabouts later on when we come back to those interchanges. Continuing on, we're going to come up to 82nd Street, and 82nd Street also gets relocated. And I'll show you that after or towards the end. But there'll be a bridge over Highway 2 at that location also. So Highway 2 is just going to continue to go underneath all of the bridges. And we're moving into a lot of area that we did a lot of grading in last year. Very large cut sections, 30 to 35 feet down. We cut through these fields. Some paving, you see some paving picking up again. This is the 98th Street Bridge at Saltillo. So, try that again. Again, for those that have been out, that was closed all of last year, and it did open this spring, so that has helped with some traffic flow. This over here is actually where 96 was, but we relocated 96 to tie in towards on the east end of the bridge structure, and it's been renamed to Arthur Edgren Way. 96th Street or 98th Street is there, so. As you probably noticed through a lot of this, we do have a lot of pavement on the ground. I did try and get some numbers of square yards of pavement that we had on the ground, but I didn't get that done, and I didn't bring that information out here with me to Colorado. So now we're coming up to 120th Street, or actually I'll stop this here. So this down here is the OPPD railroad tracks, which most everybody knows that is now operational. But there will be two structures over the OPPD tracks. Further northwest and southeast, there are some at-grade crossings, and we are putting in a couple new crossings that are signalized with arms, so that should help. So then we get to the 120th Street area, which we term as the east interchange area. Massive amount of dirt to be moved out of here, has been and is continuing on, as you can see. A lot of this dirt at this point is what we term waste dirt. It's not needed for the project, so it's the contractor's responsibility to get rid of. So here we are, we're along Highway 77, Highway 2, existing Highway 2. We're just on the east end of the project, and this work that's going on down here is the new westbound lanes for Highway 2, and that will go through here. So all of this dirt, if you're ever driving out there and you see all this dirt out here, all that has to be removed yet. And I think right now there's about maybe 300,000 to 400,000 is a rough guess of how much cubic yards of dirt that needs to be moved. This is a big area where they are, that is a waste field for them. And Highway 120th Street does get relocated, and this will kind of show where everything's at. So here we're on the south end of 120th. This is existing 120th Street that goes up to Highway 2 from Saltillo. It is getting relocated, and there will be a turnaround place right up in here, so you'll no longer be able to go north. but we're leaving this open for access to property owners. And this is one of the new crossings over the OPPD Railroad and Highway, or 120th Street. Takes off. There'll be a bridge structure over N2, and then it will go down. And sorry, the camera gets kind of offline here. We're not allowed to fly over any of these moving vehicles or people, so it keeps moving around on me. But 120th will continue on down through there and tie into existing Highway 2. This is obviously an on-ramp and an off-ramp, and this is where it comes down. There's a big box culvert up here that you've probably seen if you've driven out here. This is where actually both lanes of Highway 2 they will tie in up in here, and this will all go away. So we won't be out driving out there. It's just going to come up and come to that interchange, and then you can get on Highway 2 again, or stay on 120th. This is going to show the 82nd Street interchange. Excuse me. So this is the relocation. We're flying north. This is on the south side, where the county did some work with some asphalt paving. And actually it's going to come through here and get relocated, and it will tie in at 84th Street. This up here is 84th Street. Hawkins has their concrete plant there right now, but there will be a new roundabout at 84th. And the current 82nd and Saltillo intersection will close. 68th Street, again, if you've been out there, you've seen it and driven on it. And we talk a little bit about these teardrop interchange. I think it's something new. It's certainly something new for me. I've never been around them, but they seem to work well. Pretty slick operation. So we're flying north. This is the new relocated area. This is the old 68th Street that has been closed. And then we get up to 70th Street to the new roundabout, which obviously is open and operational and seems to be working well. The 27th Street, this is where we're relocating 38th Street down to approximately 27th Street in Saltillo. These will have the teardrop roundabouts also. And now we're going to turn and we're going to fly south a little bit to show the tie-in of 38th Street. So this is current 38th Street, and new 38th will go up that way. So it will tie in and then tie into Saltillo with a roundabout at Saltillo and 27th. This will be the new location for the roundabout. Excuse me. So we're back on the west interchange where this is Highway 77 here. This takes a little better look at our flyover bridge. You can see how it is curved. This is just a ramp bridge. It's a westbound Highway 2 to southbound 77 ramp bridge. There's nine piers that it's going to be built on. We still have one more to get put on there, plus another abutment. But it is paved up to this this point here. Pretty interesting structure to build, or at least watch them build it. The girders there are just over, I think they're 10 or 10 and a half feet tall, so it's fairly big girders. Took some large equipment, but this will show a little bit better also how northbound Highway 77. This dirt here is northbound 77, which will come across and tie in down through here and keep going this way. So it's going to have a curve in it. So this is our off ramp up to Saltillo. This is an off ramp up to Saltillo. This through here is obviously temporary Saltillo that we're all driving on now. So we do have one more structure. There will be a ramp from Saltillo to eastbound Highway 2 that will come through here. So we do have one more structure to put through here to get over the completed lanes of southbound Highway 77, which will be through here. And I think that's about it. I'm going to stop that there. Try and save my battery just for, oops. There we go. Try and save my battery for just a little bit. Is everybody still there?
Yep. Okay, well, Kurt, thank you so very much for that. And that was an interesting update. Are there some questions?
Now maybe I can hear. Is there any questions I can try and answer?
Yeah, one, Kurt, this is Commissioner Vest. Can you hear me?
Yes, barely.
First of all, thank you for taking time out. We know this is an important time for you and your family, so thank you for being here this morning via Zoom. The question I had is how many access points are there on the new Highway 2? Once it's completed, how many spots are there where you can get on and off?
They'll basically, we'll have the west end and the east end interchanges, obviously. And then there'll be a interchange at 27th Street, at 68th Street, at 82nd Street. Those will be so basically all together with the east and the west ends, there's five places to get on and off.
All right. All right, well, thank you so much, Kurt. We appreciate your time. We really do, and that was a great update. So,
Thank you.
yeah, safe travels on the way to Colorado.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Next up, we have the comprehensive plan, the 2050 comprehensive. Dave and Paul, thank you.
Yes, thank you very much for some time today. Very much appreciate it. This is a really good time to have this update occur for the common meeting because we are just about to launch our final push for the draft that will be released on September 13th. And then we will have several public meetings and events as well as virtual ones, in-person and virtual. So we're excited about that. If you recall, we started this process nearly 2 years ago with a big kickoff event at Pinnacle Bank Arena, which was great. And then COVID hit, so we've had to adjust how this process occurred. And I would say that we have done a very good job that's been successful in keeping the community engaged in this conversation, in this process. We actually have gotten more comments and more eyes on the material because of the virtual work than we would in a typical in-person only process. So one thing I just want to mention to you is that a result of COVID is going to be that our processes moving forward will likely and almost assuredly include both virtual and in-person because it does engage more people. So that actually is a positive outcome of COVID if we can count those small blessings along the way. But it has been a different process, but we feel like we have gotten a lot done to this point, and we're ready to release a draft plan. I would also note that it's interesting to have the update on the South Beltway prior to us updating you on where we're at with the comprehensive plan update because I like to use the phrase that an idea without a plan is merely a wish, and that's planners like to say these types of things. But the reality is that the South Beltway was in our plan for over 4 decades, And because it was in our comprehensive plan for so long, and we kept pushing the idea, saying that it was needed, and continuing that process, and really just working towards making sure we could afford it and have a partnership with the state, it did ultimately happen. We don't want all of our ideas to take 40, 50 years to happen. Some big ones like that, it does take that long. But we also do a very good job of implementing our plan and using our plan, and that's a very good thing for our community. So it is important to have that plan in place. I would say that, briefly, Paul's going to go into more detail on some information, but we are going to be meeting with you all in small groups. We already have meetings set up with the county board members. We're in the process of scheduling time with you as a city council members. So we have a short amount of time today. We'll give you the kind of beginning of that conversation information, and we'll talk more over the next couple of weeks. Like I said, we also go into the process page. We have gotten to the summer of 2021. We are about to release the plan. We will release it on September 13th. We have several public events scheduled for the end of September and the beginning of October. And the idea is to have the draft plan to the Planning Commission on October 20th. And then once that action would take place, then we would move it forward to your respective bodies for your consideration and action as well. So that's the big picture of where we're at with the process. And like I said earlier, we're going to be culminating in about a full 2-year process by the time we have approvals in place. Hopefully you recall, but I'll remind everyone right now that back in October of 2020, we did release the recommended growth scenario. So our first big push on our work was developing the growth scenario, which is based on the population projections and then the physical needs to meet the demand of that growth that's going to happen. We have very consistent growth here. We are going to need to accommodate an additional 48,000 dwelling units by 2050, the horizon year. The basic assumptions are that we will be developing on the edge at 4 units per acre. That's actually what we've been doing for the last decade or so. That is how development is happening on our edges, and we're using that as a major assumption. We are assuming 25% infill. We have been experiencing about 22% per year infill for our new units. We are going to push that a little bit, but not in a major way, up to 25%. We think it's going to increase incrementally over time. And then what you see in the purple areas, that dark black line is our current future service limit out to 2040. In order to accommodate the additional 10 years, we need to open up more land. And this growth plan shows in the purple areas that we would, in a multi-directional way, as we have in the past, open up about 7 more square miles. And that feeds into our drainage plans and our gravity flow sewer system that we have in place. It's obviously taking advantage of the push to the south around the South Beltway that is being constructed, so it makes sense to go straight south in a major way, and also makes sense to go continue south into, and then on to the east side of Stevens Creek, because we have the capacity there with the Mayor Trunk sewer line. But we also have southwest and northwest growth areas as well that make sense and are cost effective. So that was at the end of 2020, we had that in place, and we've done a lot more work moving forward from there, working on the plan and all the different elements of the plan. So with that, I am going to hand it off to Paul. He's going to give you kind of the overview of the top 10 items that have been either changed or added into the plan. Make sure you are aware of those, and that's the content that we'll talk with you further in those small groups.
All right, just a little bit. Thanks, David. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for having us. I'm going to go over what we're coining as the top 10 for the Plan Forward 2050 content. Obviously, with the major update of the comprehensive plan, there are a lot of things that have been changed in addition to the growth that David's mentioned, but we wanted to highlight for you kind of the big changes and the content that we're going to share at the public meetings going forward. So I just have our first 5 here listed on the screen. Complete neighborhoods is an exciting topic that is being woven into the Plan Forward document. And essentially, this is looking at our neighborhoods, both existing and developing, to make sure that we have convenient access to goods and services for the people that live there, but also to ensure that we have mix of housing types, variety of price points, really to make these desirable places to live. Part of this too will also be a future development of an evaluation tool to measure some of our success with completeness of neighborhoods for existing and developing areas. The next area is infill and redevelopment. This is carried forward from the Plan Forward 2040 plan, but we're revamping it somewhat. As David said, we're assuming 25% infill, so that growth assumption is woven into this topic as well. And then we highlight 4 different districts for housing infill, those being downtown, nodes and corridors, a new area called neighborhood edges, and then within existing neighborhoods. And a lot of this is happening today, but this is to organize topics of housing affordability, missing middle, and to bring those into the comp plan directly. There's also an increased focus with this topic on the O Street corridor for infill opportunities, enhanced transit service, and the commercial centers that are along that corridor. The next topic is design standards. Again, this is carried forward from the current comp plan, but enhanced as well, to look at additional design standards for our nodes and corridors as those continue to develop. And also bringing forward some design standards for redevelopment projects, those that receive TIP assistance, and specifically outlining priority design items we'd like to see with those projects. It also carries forward the idea of commercial design standards in our current comprehensive plan. The topic of local food is only increasing in discussions and importance in our communities. And in this update, we're looking at supporting additional community garden spaces and specifically looking at public lands where we can do that and reducing barriers to allow that to happen, including zoning updates to allow more of those uses in more of the zoning districts. The early childhood care and education section is actually new. There was a proposal in the state legislature in past sessions to require this as an element in comprehensive plans. It didn't carry forward, but we were supportive of that. So we're actually bringing this forward in more content and really identifying partnerships in our community where the city and other entities can support this moving forward. And then this set. So sustainability, obviously a very big topic. Providing support for renewables such as wind and solar in appropriate areas throughout the county, but also mapping our environmental resources that we have in the county. So, making sure that we have riparian areas identified, highlighting the native prairies and other resources that we do have throughout the county. The topic of resiliency was really elevated in our community with the City of Lincoln Climate Action Plan, and there are many different recommendations in that plan. What we've done with this update is to integrate those recommendations throughout, and we're working with Mickey Esposito and her team to make sure that those recommendations are carried forward. Parking, I think, is always a big topic whenever you talk about communities developing, but the big idea here is to look at our parking requirements and look at opportunities where we could reduce or maybe even eliminate some of them. Today, the only district in our community that doesn't require parking is downtown, the B4 district, but maybe expanding that out to other areas such as the B5 regional commercial centers. Workforce development is somewhat of a newer area for this comprehensive plan as well. Although we're always supportive of those efforts, what this section does, it really highlights the work that the American Job Center does, which is a division of our local government. In past plans, that hasn't been the case for whatever reason, but we really want to support that and our partners with those groups moving forward. And then lastly, equity has been a topic that's been interwoven through a lot of our conversations. In fact, we had an equity subcommittee that looked at current and potential policies throughout our document to identify things that maybe we hadn't thought about before that we need to address in terms of home ownership versus renters, being more inclusive of everyone in our community. Also, there's an additional conversation about the history of redlining in our community. And that's a difficult conversation, but it's true and it happened. And so we're acknowledging those types of things with this plan moving forward as well. I just want to touch real quick on the parallel effort known as the Long Range Transportation Plan, which is a process being managed through the planning department, but by our MPO staff. So I think many of you have been involved with that or heard about that. Essentially, that content that's being developed is going to become our transportation element in the Plan Forward comprehensive plan. Kind of the key takeaways here are that the prioritized funding that's been developed with the community's input, with our staff, and with our consultant team really is going to take care of the existing system moving forward. And that's been something that we hear all the time. We need to take care of what we have, take care of what we have. And we know that with the quarter cent sales tax, Lincoln on the Move funds, and highway allocation bonds, in the early years, we're going to get a lot of stuff done. But about 2026, those funding sources drop off, and we need to talk about, well, then what? There's a need for additional funding to continue that momentum. The needs don't go away after 2026. So a big message of that plan is that we're going to have those conversations as well. David mentioned the upcoming public events, and I'm crossing my fingers and toes and everything. Hopefully we still hold those, but here's the locations that we have scheduled. Jane Snyder Trails Center, Spring Creek Prairie, Southeast Community College, those will all be in-person locations beginning the week of September 27th. As David mentioned, we're also going to continue our virtual option, so all of the content at the in-person meetings will be available virtually through an online format. We're also working with our partners and friends at the libraries to install kiosks. So we're going to have a kiosk of information at 4 branch libraries in each quadrant of the city. We're also going to have a kiosk downtown in Bennett Martin, and those should run for about 2 weeks. In addition, we'll do our typical social media blast. We're going to have our email blast, and we're advertising all of this in a really flashy ad in the Journal-Star. So.
All right.
David already mentioned this, so I won't restate that, but we will be before you once again to get your approval on the plans.
Well, thank you. That was just kind of around the world in a flash.
Around the county.
Around the county, yes, exactly, around the county in a flash. Are there any questions?
Sure. Absolutely. Actually, this comes from a bill at the state that was known as the Missing Middle Bill, and really ties in with the housing affordability and zoning regulations in local jurisdictions. The city of Lincoln was somewhat ahead of it in putting together an affordable housing coordinated action plan, which did identify ways that we can reduce barriers in zoning or other regulations to encourage more types of housing units. Really what we want to do is talk about, how we can get more of the duplex, triplex, variety of units, cottage home developments, to really enhance the options of housing, and all of that related to increasing affordability and also mobility of housing throughout our community. Just recently, we submitted our report that was required as part of that bill to the state, and our Urban Development Department friends had presented to the Urban Affairs Committee last Friday on that. So we are on track in terms of the state statutes, and then we're rolling a lot of that content going forward into the comprehensive plan.
Missing middle refers to, it's like duplexes, side-by-side housing, those cottage court housing, townhouses, it's that sort of middle stuff. It's not mid-rise housing, it's not single-family detached dwellings, it's that sort of in-between, right?
The middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, yep.
You had a question?
Just real quick, I know that we're going to be dealing with the infrastructure bill and potential funding from that. We assume it's going to be passed, but how will that impact our LRTP and other, you saw the funding, you said starts to taper off in 2026. What type of impact do you forecast that this will have?
Yeah, so the good news is that it looks like we're going to get an infrastructure bill passed at the federal level sooner than later. and it does have increased funding amounts for basically everywhere in the nation. Our current plan includes the assumed expected continued federal funding that we already get. So what would happen if we do end up with a bill that provides more funding, whether it's at the state level, the county level, or whether it's the city level, we will take that information, and I'm sure at some point we'll just do an amendment to the long-range transportation plan. And then hopefully we'll be able to get further down that list of needs. That's the hope right now.
Any further questions? All right, well, thank you so very much for
Thank
coming
you.
here and presenting that.
Thank you.
That's a very good summary, and will prepare us for the public meetings.
Yep, and we'll see you in small groups too.
You bet. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Item number 5 is the Information Services Update with David Young. Thank you.
Good morning, members of the commission, members of the council. David Young, thank you very much for the opportunity to speak today. Let's see if we're going to project my presentation coming up. Let's see if it works. There we go. In just a very short few minutes, we have about 10 slides to go through, an update on where we're at in CGIS, and then a quick discussion around security. CGIS, you'll remember, 1978. And it served us very well. With the support of both the City Council and the County Board, we have executed a contract with Penlink and DPL. We're at the midpoint of the phase 1 of the project. Things are going very well. Speaking with the customers, all customers have been contacted. We're actually about a week ahead of schedule on the project. You'll remember there are 23 workflows in this system that affect multiple agencies. Phase 1 is about $500,000 to do the engineering assessment, and phase 2 will be the build out. And we expect the project to take 2 years, so October of 2023 will be the completion date. And we will be moving workflows over onto the new system as they are built. We do have a new project manager on board. It was hired out of Kansas City and relocated to Lincoln, reversing that brain drain. And we hope to have our new programmer on board December of this year. Any questions about CGIS? Okay, I'll have a quick discussion about security. In the last fiscal year, we started at the basics, getting all of our computers upgraded, getting all of our office productivity software on one common platform, upgrading all of our servers, and moving our storage online to the cloud so it can be backed up. 4,000 computers. About a little less than half were on Windows 7. As of this morning, we have 78 computers that are still on Windows 7. We expect to have this project complete by the end of the month. The 79 computers are distributed between 3 departments generally: aging, district courts, and corrections. And we are working with each one of them to complete this project. We've had a lot of great partnership from the agencies.
You're saying that computers on aging are
I am, and I was not trying to make a pun, but I appreciate that. I appreciate that. On Office 365, the same 77 computers, but we have a little bit more licensing because some people are licensed on multiple computers. So we're at 99%, which is the get rid of WordPerfect project. Yes. We're very close. Very close.
Some people hold on to that. Good, good.
Kill it with fire.
There's a scene in the movie Office Space, you guys may remember, where they took the printer outside. That's what we're going to do. Of our servers, 300, we've got 200 upgraded December of this year. Of our databases, we're about 57%. This is the back end for a lot of applications. So when we're looking at this, we upgrade the server, and then we move the application database up to the latest version. So we're about halfway there, a little more than halfway there. This is a tough project because it involves a lot of private vendors as well. SharePoint Online, we're moving very quickly on that. P drive is the personal drive that we all know and love. That is going to OneDrive. F drive is going to SharePoint. We're at about 18 departments on the F drive and 25 departments on P drive out of 48 departments. So we did not project to have this done.
We're getting killed. Thank you.
We do not project to have this done until June of 2022. We're on track, but it is a tough project. What is coming up? Multi-factor authentication. Multi-factor authentication, basically getting a text message to your phone or to an application on your mobile device if you are outside of the city-county network. So if you're in your office, no change, but if you are logging in from home or logging in from a personal device, you will get a request once a day to add either the 6-digit code from an application or from a app, Microsoft Authenticator. This is a big issue, cyber insurance. We've been working with Sue Eckley and Shannon Anderson in the city. Forex, many of you have heard, insurance compliance issues, not being able to have ransomware coverage, largely due to implementing multi-factor authentication. We will have to bring your own device policy to the ISPC first, and then to the City Council and County Board to support this initiative. It will be a very light policy, allowing employees to opt in. Endpoint detection and response. Basically, if you will remember, we all had Symantec or Norton antivirus. This is a step up from that. And what it does is it automates shutting off computers that are affected. Just to simplify it, right? Security events, information and event management. This is a system that automatically pulls logs if there is an event and compiles them for use by your outside counsel to defend yourself in the event of a security breach. And then identity management services, really in the weeds, but this is an automated, centralized control auditing function for all user accounts in the city and county. Multi-factor authentication was our idea. We've been working on this for about a year. I've had it on my phone personally for about a month. It works pretty well. By September 15th, we'll have all of the administrative accounts on it. But with the cyber insurance discussion, pushing that out to all users in the city, county, hopefully by the end of this year. That's the time frame on that. The other three, 2 years ago, would have been considered state-of-the-art, top of the line. Mostly, high security environments. Both the city and the county insurance agencies are asking us to deploy these in order to be able to protect ourselves from ransomware that we've seen other cities have the unfortunate, to be affected by that. We will be asking for these as part of the budget process. The expected cost is $400,000 a year for these three. You may remember the discussion about going from F1 and E3 licenses. Some people get E3, some people get F1, right? This will be going from E3 to what's called M5, which is the security suite of licenses. It's a big investment, and we want to bring it forth as part of the budget process and have those conversations. I like batting cleanup, so I can try to shorten the time frame to have discussion. Are there any questions you have for me at this time?
Questions? Well, I tell you what, you have made amazing progress, and the security is, you talk about $400,000 investment, and so forth on an annual basis, but that is certainly a lot cheaper than what the alternative would be with the breach of security. So, comments? All right. Thank you so much, Dave.
Today, with me are Jim Anderson and Craig Gifford. Jim is our security officer. Craig is the guy leading the charge on a lot of these initiatives. Please feel free to reach out. We're happy to come in and talk individually one-on-one or about any questions you have on this, or if you just need help with your computer. We're happy to do that.
And I sometimes need that.
Thank you very much for your support.
You bet. Thank you. Thank you. All right. And thank you folks for coming. All right.
I believe that we'll be calling them.
I beg your pardon?
I believe that we'll be calling them when we have to do
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
whatever, that thing.
There'll be training before that rolls out, correct?
There will be, and as you may have experienced, but I know a lot of departments have, we've been doing the roving help desk for about almost 2 months now. And that's been very successful.
Good.
Getting people to come out and just be able to say, this is my IT person who comes every week and answers questions and helps us. That will be a large part of our strategy to deploy multi-factor authentication.
MFAs sound harder than they are. It's a,
If you can read a text, you can handle it.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
if you can
It's
read
a-
it.
It's an app on your phone that either gives you a generator or it sends you a text.
All right,
and
well,
then
you-
plug in that number.
You guys are young guys.
And you only have to do it once a day.
Like vitamins.
Thank you.
Thank you. for
Thank
coming
you.
in. I think it's time to call for a, well, listen, just a second. Okay, our next meeting, note, is November the 15th at 1 o'clock. I think that's a Monday.
And I was wondering if maybe there was an opportunity to maybe change that meeting date. The city council actually will not be, it's observing Veterans Day for us.
Oh,
The city's not open.
And the city's not open.
well, I think that we can. Yeah, is there a,
We could do it Tuesday.
Yeah.
That Tuesday.
yeah.
Does that interrupt you guys again? I mean,
It's way easier for us.
Yeah, it's easier for them to do.
Tuesdays,
Oh,
right?
Tuesdays are fine.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we're here.
maybe
Oh.
Tuesday at the same
Let me
time.
see here, let's go to month.
Tuesday, 13th at 11.
The 16th,
The 16th at 11.
November.
Tuesday, the 16th at 11 o'clock.
Thank you, Tom. I was looking at that
Good catch.
going, did we get into the building?
Yeah. Angie, could you send us an updated meeting invite for that date, please? Thank you.
Thanks for bringing that up.
Danielle's actually handling this portion of the Commons meeting for
Okay.
the next year. But we'll get in there.
If you or Danielle could, thank you.
Okay, so, November the 16th, the Tuesday at 11 o'clock. All right. Motion to, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Okay, very good. Okay, motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Munson,
Yes.
McGinnis, Flowerday,
Yes.
Beckius,
Yes.
Shore. Ward,
Yes.
Best,
Yes.
Washington,
Yes.
Show. Bowers,
Yes.
Riggle. Yes. Motion carried.
Okay, we are adjourned.